Robots and automation. They're improving manufacturing productivity here in the United States and offering new job opportunities for those in that area.
We're talking about robot integration, automation, and sensors here at the MC2 Conference, and I'm with Fred Proctor of NIST and Tom Kurfess, professor at Georgia Tech. Thank you all for being here with me today.
My pleasure.
So first, let's start off, and we talked about the state of robot integration. What does that look like right now?
Well, robots are everywhere. I think 2013 was the biggest sales year for robots ever. So we're seeing them in more places, in more activities. They're being used by more and more people, and I think that's got pluses and minuses. The pluses, they're everywhere. They're being used for all sorts of things and making jobs easier for people to do, safer. On the other hand, because there's so many, trying to get them to work together and with people and with the facilities is more and more of a challenge. There's many ways to hook them together. How do you pick the best way to do it? How do you get information from the robot up to the enterprise? So actually trying to moving them into more places has created more and more headaches as far as integration is concerned.
So how do standards play a role in solving that problem?
Well, I'm a standards guy from NIST, so my answer for this is always standards are great, but they're not always great. A lot of people think that they might inhibit innovation. A lot of people think that they lag behind technology, which can be true. I think the point we like to make is that if standards help technology get into the hands of people who wouldn't normally buy it, especially small manufacturers, then innovation starts to happen at a much accelerated pace. So we think that standards are an important part of this. Technology development, I think, is even more important. But once you get the technology nailed down, getting it deployed in a standard way makes it much easier for people who are maybe risk averse or don't have a lot of technical savvy to bring them into the facilities and get the job done faster.
So what are some of the challenges for the small and medium-sized manufacturers when they're trying to implement this new technology?
Well, a lot of it is just understanding what the new technology is, how to use it, and how to use it most effectively. So a lot of times we see 21st century machine tools in the machine shop, and they're being used like when I was a kid back in the 70s and the 80s. So it's really understanding the capabilities and then leveraging those capabilities.
And Fred, what do you think are some of the major challenges for small and mid-sized companies?
Well, the problem with small manufacturers is they have very short time cycles, very small lot sizes. They're under time crunch to get products out the door as soon as possible. That's how they compete. And the problem with robots has always been they do a great job in applications where you can spend a lot of time up front programming them, tweaking them, getting it just right, and then playing back that application over and over again for large volumes. So it doesn't really match well with the way small manufacturers want to use them. And so I think the key is that small manufacturers, just like all manufacturers, can benefit from robotic automation. But we need to make it as easy as possible to program them, and they need to be able to perform as well as people. And so I think if you ask small manufacturers why they don't have robots, you'll get the same answer in general. And it takes too long to program robots for jobs they don't do well anyway. So we have two things we have to help improve. The ability of robots to do things that people do, seemingly simple things like buttoning or unbuttoning buttons, and also make it as easy as possible to program them for the next job that comes in the door. I think that's the big impediment to getting into being used in small environments.
So we talked a little bit about some of the more exciting advancements in robotics. What do you see as the next big thing?
So I think the next big thing is really the robots working together with people in the workplace. So typically you're out there in production today, you've got the people workplace, you've got the robot workplace. They typically don't work together because of a lot of safety issues and concerns and so forth. But that's changing, and the opportunities are coming down the road where you see, for example, as Fred just mentioned, the robot would have a very hard time buttoning a button, right? So we could use the human dexterity to button that button, but we could use the strength in the robot to button the 500-pound button, right? And so you link those two together, they work together, and you really have a tremendously augmented workforce.
It's a very exciting time, and thank you both so much for talking with us today.
Oh, it was great talking to you. All right, thank you.
Thank you for watching. This has been Whitney Brown for IMTSTV.